company's commitment to sustainability, today we'll be riding on one of our first electric trams introduced into our fleet. Here to tell you more about it is the Today Show's Al Roker.
I'm proud to announce that Universal Studios Hollywood is converting the world-famous studio tour trams to become electric vehicles. As these trams roll out, guests will be experiencing all the movie-making action propelled by the latest energy-efficient technology. Now, this is just one example of NBC Universal's and Comcast's commitment to becoming carbon neutral by 2035, helping us all take another step toward reducing our carbon footprint. So, welcome aboard for an awesome experience that's also awesome for the environment.
Now, as we are going out today, we're going into an active studio lot, so be sure to check out for the quiet zones. If that's the case, I'll be taking myself off mic. Have your cameras ready, and we will just sneak on through, but you can get a good picture because you never know who or what you'll see out there. Now, before we take off, if anybody didn't get a pair of those 3D glasses, wave real big so our studio tour ambassadors can get some for you. And we will be on our way in just a moment, and you're in for a treat today because you got your very own stunt driver, Joe. Everybody together say, "Hey, Joe!" Hey, Joe! Oh, that was good. Well, I think that one's one for the real. Well, is it anybody's first time on the studio tour today? Do we have any first timers here? I see one here in the front car and a few in the second car, a few on the back. Well, welcome. We've got a lot going on today. Like Kelly Clarkson is filming nonstop on the lot. She is filming the Kelly Clarkson Show and American Song Contest. So be on the lookout because the earlier you come on the tour, the more likely you might see somebody working on the lot today. So you are in for a treat. Now, also, we have some theft problems on the back lot, so keep an eye on your belongings while we are back there. Oh, see, here we go again. They've stolen our logo, but you can help us get that logo back by going to see The Bad Guys in theaters now. Now, as we are departing, wave goodbye to everyone left behind because you'll never see them again, and why would you? You didn't come with them. You came with your family, and they're here on the tour with you. Now, as we get started, I want to introduce you to my co-host, Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Kyle.
And the greatest driver.
Joe.
You're the best. I love that. Even though
Kyle.
both me $5.
That's not true.
I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right, Jimmy. We have a few safety rules. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram or have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please stay seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Remember to use the red cord above your head if you need any assistance. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord and remain seated. Please, no smoking of any kind on this tour. Be prepared, our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and many water effects. You'll want to have your cameras out for great photo opportunities, but keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. Finally, for your safety and those around you, no use of selfie sticks while on board. And if you are with someone today who's using a selfie stick, see me after the tour. I have some brochures to help you rehabilitate them to a normal life. Now, as we head on out of the theme park, we're going to head down into our working active studio. Now, as we make our way down the hill, you can take a look behind on your right-hand side and see just a glimpse of what we're headed towards. On the front lot, you're going to see some sound stages, and on the back lot, you're going to see some other things. We'll get to that a little later. Now, as we're making our way down the hill, look on the left and right-hand side of the tram, and you'll see our Universal Studios timeline. These photos represent just a few of the thousands of movies that have been made here at Universal Studios, and above the posters, you'll see the particular logo that was used during the film's release. And you'll notice there are several logos, and that's because Universal Studios has over 100 years of history making television and movies. Now, in 1912, Carl Laemmle founded the Universal Film Manufacturing Company. 2 years later, he moved his company out west, and on March 15, 1915, he opened the doors to Universal Studios to the public. Carl Limley dubbed Universal City the strangest city in the world, and it is a real city because we have everything you have in your city. We have medical facilities, we have our own sheriff's office, we even have our own zip code and fire station. And Universal Studios was founded on just 150 acres, and today it has expanded to over 400 acres. And if you'll take a look on your right-hand side, you'll see that fire station I was just telling you about. This is Fire Station 51, named after the television show Emergency from 1972. Now, Universal Studios, like I said, is we're also Super Nintendo World will be opening in 2023 here at Universal Studios World on our website and social media located. Now, what a soundstage is a warehouse-like facility that is built specifically. On your left-hand side, you'll see the very first sound stage that was ever built here at Universal Studios, Stage 12. It was built in 1928 for 1929's movie Broadway. And the door is actually standing open there, so as we make our way by, you can see right on inside there. Now, a sound stage is approximately 80% soundproof. Sound stages, approximately 80 to 90% of filming takes place in a sound in. On your left hand, which you're currently retelling, starring America Cloud 9 were set up just used for television. It's a scene where the dinosaurs. Apollo 13, Ron Howard. An entire replica at NASA, but NASA was like going to the moon and exploring. Now, it goes back to the 1939. Universal Studios has an illustrious history. On your right hand side, successful shows ever. The home to many stage. The Jeffersons, Boss, Sabrina the Teenage. You're going to see Stage 43, which is currently Ed Helms. And then finally, all the way at the end, which is currently the home to Mr. Mayor, starring Dance inside Stage 44 on your right. Now, as we make our way on into the front lot, you're going to see on your left-hand side some buildings that look like houses or apartments. Those are called bungalows, and those were here since the early days of the studio. And what those were in the beginning were the dressing rooms for our stars, because the stars were under contract at Universal Studios. So that just meant that they could only make movies for one studio. So they gave them a little perk, a place to call a home away from home where they could study their lines, get ready, and be near set when they needed to come over to a soundstage. But nowadays, our actors are free agents, so they can work for any studio they would like. So now these bungalows have been converted into production offices, and we have some pretty high-profile people working day in and day out in those production offices. People like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with 7 Bucks Productions. He's currently working on Young Rock. We also have Elizabeth Banks Productions, and Elizabeth Banks' production company called Brownstone Productions. You might know her work from things like Pitch Perfect 2. We also have Mark Platt Productions. His office is in this portico coming up right over here on your left-hand side. They're currently working on a film adaptation of the hit Broadway musical Wicked, starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. And his office is right there down that alcove. Right there with Mark Platt Productions. Now, coming up on your left-hand side, you're going to see Bungalow 5195, and you might see a familiar face, and that's because that's the bungalow of Alfred Hitchcock when he was here. He worked on such films as Psycho, Vertigo, and The Birds there. They wanted to give that bungalow to Steven Spielberg, but he said, no, it's too iconic, turn it into a museum. But the De Laurentiis company said, folks, I've got some printers I need to plug in. Give me them offices. And that's where they live to this day. As we go on in, you're going to see on your left-hand side, stages 22 and 23, among our newest sound stages. They look a little different because they've got production offices right on the front, so they can keep everything in-house. This was built in 2016 for Hairspray Live, starring Jennifer Hudson. But then for all 3 seasons of the Will and Grace reboot, they called these stages home. Now it's the home to Kenan, starring Kenan Thompson, Chris Redd, and Don Johnson. Now that concludes our front lot, where they film mostly interior shots. We're going to head into the back lot. And now on the back lot, it's mostly exterior shots. And what you're going to see today on the back lot are practical sets, meaning sets you can film on the inside and outside, and facades, which are just the front and sides of a building. Only what you see on camera, and then your imagination fills in the rest. So when we go through our back lot today, see if you can pick out some of these different types of sets. Now on your right hand side, you're going to get your very first glimpse of our metropolitan sets. Now these sets are set up to look like any big city in the world. All you have to do is get the art director to bring out the specific things that make that city unique. Like New York, you'll have yellow taxi cabs. In London, you'll have double-decker buses and phone booths, red phone booths. Now, where we are now is called Brownstone Street. You might recognize this from Bruce Almighty, because in this scene, it starts in a soundstage, and then he comes right out here to Brownstone Street to let the dog relieve himself. But this has also been used as the exterior of Mindy Lahiri's home in the Mindy Project. Now, from the big city to a small town, I'm going to take you to one of the greatest sets, in my opinion, on our back lot. It's called Courthouse Square, but you might know it a little better as Hill Valley from Back to the Future. Take a look.
It was actually the back lot of Courthouse Square that inspired the entire climax to Back to the Future.
I had seen the clock tower on that ledge. The ledge about that wide. And I was standing inside looking at the ledge, and I already had vertigo. I just thought, there's no way in the world, no way I'm going to stand on that. I was up there for quite a while. Of course, I had a cable.
Now, that City Hall might look a little different than it did in Back to the Future, and that's because it was also used for CBS's Ghost Whisperer, and the producers of that show felt that the clock tower was just too iconic. People would think, this is not Grandview, this is Hill Valley. So they took a facade and put it over the clock tower. Now, the clock tower is actually still back there, but it looks a little different ever since the early 2000s when Ghost Whisperer started their production. It's also the home of Rutherford Falls. This is the exterior. This is the town of Rutherford Falls. It's also where they filmed the To Kill a Mockingbird with Robert Redford, and this is also where they filmed the very first episode of Twilight Zone, the episode titled Where Did Everybody Go? Now, we're going to head on into one of the longest continuous sets on our back lot, New York Street, but as you can tell by my southern accent, I'm not a true New Yorker, so let me turn it over to a true New Yorker.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey! I'm walking here! Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
Now, you might have noticed that this is sort of a zigzaggy, curving street, and that's because this is optical illusion. Streets that curve look like they go on, and this is also can be used for any city. It doesn't have to be New York, even though it's called New York Street. It's been Baltimore for Hairspray Live. It's been Chicago for the Blues Brothers. It was even London for the Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. This is where they had the street race. And are there any fans of American Ninja Warrior on here? This is where they filmed the final obstacle course for the American Ninja Warrior. And as we're making our way out, we are going to head from the concrete jungle to the real jungle, because here's Peter Jackson to tell you about his work with the Universal Studios.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
That's right, folks. We're going to head on into Skull Island. But as we do, please be sure to remain seated at all times. Keep your arms and legs inside the tram. Hold on tight to your belongings. You don't want to lose them in the jungle. And no flash photography as it spooks the animals.
The Universal tram.
The island. Where is the different entities? It's so true.
Put on your 3D glasses, and here we go. Give it up for King Kong 360 3D. All right. Now, what you just experienced were some of the world's largest 3D screens. They stand at 40 feet high and over 180 feet long. That was a collaboration between Peter Jackson and the folks at Weta Digital. Now, you might not know Weta Digital's name, but you know their reputation because they have 6 Academy Awards under their belt. They worked on such films as Avatar, The Jungle Book, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and the Hobbit trilogy, just to name a few.
With a Project Red Studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know people are looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shot to go. This frame represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting it to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Now, you might have noticed in King Kong 360 3D, our 5th car on our tram actually got pulled onto screen. Now, they might have been eaten by dinosaurs and fallen to their death, but they did get a treat. They're now a picture car. Now, a picture car is any car that's used in filming, and it's more than just getting our actors from one place to another. They actually help us set the stage. For instance, if you have a film that is set in the 1950s, you bring out cars from the 1940s and 50s, and the audience automatically knows this is in the past. And same with the future, like Back to the Future. If it's set in the future, you have futuristic cars. Even present day, if it's an affluent neighborhood, you'll see Maseratis and Teslas and that kind of thing. Now, on your left, you're going to see more of our picture cars, like Ford Cobra Kit from Knight Rider, Magnum PI's Ferrari 308. We got cars from the future and the past from Back to the Future. We even have the very first cars ever made, the Flintstones family automobile. And our newest addition is the Ford Anglia from the gyrosphere from Jurassic World. This was added in post-production by CGI, computer generated the camera. Now, this last Bradley fighting vehicle right here on the end, that might look like easy to move around and easy to reproduce. Take after take, you can Metro somewhere a little farther off the
To Jurassic Park.
Thank you. We're going to go into Jurassic Park, and on your left and your right, you're going to see in the scenes. Now, these particular props are easy to use, and on your left-hand side, World Jurassic Park. Now, that mobile lab is too made out of paint. Wood does. Now that makes it lightweight, easy to use, and you remember from The Lost World that they dangled that mobile lab off of a cliff. Oh look, here. Those are our. Take a look at that mobile lab you just saw in action. Now, like I said, it was lightweight, easy to maneuver, and they're about to dangle it off the cliff. And if you pause it right there, you're going to see that cliff. That's actually a parking garage on the front end of our lot. So that's handy that it's only made out of plywood because it's lightweight and easy to dangle. And that just proves that it is very handy to have a lot like this where you can film every aspect of filming because you can control everything. And that's because anytime you see a dinosaur on screen in the Jurassic Park trilogy, it's raining, and that's because rain makes things more dramatic. The scary, scarier, the suspenseful, more suspenseful, even the romantic, more romantic. We've all seen the movies where the lovers kiss in the rain at the end. Now, personally, I've kissed someone with wet socks. It's not that great. But as we go on into Old Mexico, let me show you how we make rain here in Southern California. First, we start with some lightning and thunder, and that's just some speakers and some strobe lights. Put that code in, take a look, and then I'll go through. And now we need to add the rain, so I'll just put the code in for the rain. And how we do that is they just shoot it straight up into the air through sprinklers, and it goes straight up and falls naturally like raindrops. Take a look. Okay, so now we're going to turn that off because this is one of our oldest practical effects, and if I leave it on too long, it'll start to overflood. So, Joe, my button's stuck. It's not. The button is stuck now. Yeah, it'll work. Okay, I'll just fiddle with it. It probably won't overflow. It usually doesn't, but I've seen it a time or two, so I'll just wiggle with it. It probably won't overflood. It'll be okay. It's fine. Nothing to worry about. Oh, okay, yeah, it did overflood. It usually never gets into the tram, guys. Don't worry, it usually never gets our feet wet much. Okay. As you might have guessed, I'm just teasing. You might recognize that flash flood from Big Fat Liar, starring Paul Giamatti, Frankie Muniz, and Amanda Bynes. You also might recognize that flash flood from Lady Gaga's music video, Judas. In that music video, Lady Gaga stood in the middle of the flash flood on 8-inch heels, which is really talented. I've only ever been able to do it in 6-inch heels, but I'm going to keep practicing. Now, as we head on into Old Mexico, you're going to see a courtyard that has been used for such movies as Three Amigos, Nacho Libre. That woke the front car up. This is also used recently in an episode of Picard on Paramount Plus. This was the planet Bashti, if you watch Picard. Now, as we leave Old Mexico behind, we're going to go into the Old West. Welcome to Six Points. Now, this is among our oldest sets on our back lot. It was called Six Points because it had 6 different streets, each of them set up like a town. And each street had everything a town should need in the Old West. A sheriff's office, a jail, a bank, and of course a saloon. Because what would be the Old West without a saloon fight? This was recently used in Quentin Tarantino's 9th film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, in the old days, they would invite people out because it was silent pictures and they could film 6 different scenes at a time. They would let people watch and cheer on the good guy, boo the bad guy, but nowadays we can't. But if you take a look at the doors here, this is what's known as forced perspective. It's just a trickery of the eye. Those doors are actually smaller than the average door, and that's because you want your cowboys to be big and burly and strong. But if your cowboy's only 5'3", you got to put him in a tiny door so he can look big and burly and strong. And they used to want their women to be petite and demure, so if they had a 5'10" barmaid, you'd put her in a giant door and she looked tiny. But nowadays, we don't care what size they are because women can take care of themselves, right, everybody? Yeah. So as we make our way out in just a moment, you're going to see some of our backlot stages. Now, we have a few sound stages on the backlot, 24 through 27. Now, 25 through 27 is used for The Voice, starring Kelly Clarkson and Blake Shelton. So take a look at those. But at the very end, on the left, on the other side of the stage 25, is stage 24, which is currently home to Snoop Dogg and Kelly Clarkson's current hit show, American Song Contest, a live music competition where one artist representing each U.S. state and territory competes with America's vote for Best Hit Song. If you're familiar with Eurovision, this is the American version. Now, in front of those stages, you're going to see Park Lake, which is nicknamed the Hollywood Ocean, and that's because since the beginning of the studio, that body of water has represented any number of bodies of water. It can even be the ocean with some tricks of the camera and some model boats. Notably, it was used for 1936's Showboat. It was also used for 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon. Take a look at that. This is that Park Lake we just mentioned for Creatures from the Black Lagoon. Now, we have reached the halfway point of our tour, so I want to remind everybody that the studio is private property. If you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord to get my attention. I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Now, as I mentioned, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, that brings me to the monster movies. The monster movie genre was born right here at Universal Studios, and they were actually born here on these next sets, which are known as Little Europe. But monsters like Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Wolfman, and of course Dracula were all born right here in Little Europe. But you might remember it for something a little more recent, because welcome to The Good Place. So yes, all 4 seasons of The Good Place were filmed right here on Little Europe. This is the exterior shots. You also might recognize Little Europe for the fictional country of Genovia from Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Engagement. The parade that was in that movie took place right where we were driving. And coming up on your left-hand side, you're going to see Yogurt, the yogurt shop from The Good Place. And as we make our way on up the hill, you're going to see on your left-hand side the train station where they would travel between the good place, the bad place, and the medium place. And just across from that pink train station, you're going to see on your right-hand side Court of Miracles. Now, Court of Miracles is where they filmed the Frankenstein, and the particular scene that was filmed right out there was the scene where they the villagers took up torches and went after the monster. And what's interesting to me is that concept of taking up arms and going after the monster was born right there on Court of Miracles. We see it in all of our favorite scary movies, and even some that are not scary, like the animated Beauty and the Beast. The villagers took up torches and went after the beast. All these filming concepts were born right here on Little Europe. Also, on your right-hand side, coming up, there's a courtyard where they filmed the Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. And also, They filmed 2 versions of Dracula on Little Europe, an English version and a Spanish version. They filmed the English in the daytime and the Spanish at night with 2 different actors. And actually, the Spanish version was much more successful at the box office. Now, folks, we're going to take you inside of a hot set on a soundstage, which just means the set is set up for filming. The film crew is on a break, or they might not even be here today. They didn't explain why it's available, but they told me to go ahead and take you in. But while we go in, please remember to remain seated at all times, hold on to your belongings, and no flash photography of any kind. Now, as we go into this hot set, I'll point out what you're seeing. On the left-hand side, you're going to see what is known as Video Village. That's where the director sits and all the behind-the-scenes crew to watch the action take place. Up ahead, it looks like they've got some tables set up for Crafty, so I guess they are going to come back today at some point. Now, Crafty is just a cute little nickname for craft service, which is the catering for the production. And I'm looking around and it looks like it's a subway station in what looks like San Francisco. And I see telephones, so it must be a period piece from the past of some sort. Okay, don't panic, guys. That's just a little trick we get from time to time in Southern California. Oh, okay, so this might be bigger than a pool trip. If you've got multiple children, pick one to hang on to, just in case somebody falls out. You want to keep one on your way home. Oh my gosh, the ceiling just caved in. Okay, nobody panic. There's no need to panic. Everything will be fine. Okay, y'all, I'm officially freaking out, so you should be too, because this is not part of the tour, and it's every man for himself. Hang on tight. Uh-oh. The gas main broke. This whole place could blow. Okay, everybody, just hang tight. Let's all try to stay calm. Okay, the subway car. Now this is ridiculous. What's happening here? And please turn off your light in the front car. Thank you so much. We want to not add any drama to the situation. Okay, now the water's coming. Okay, everybody get those life vests. We headed up the load line. Everybody got those, right? Nobody got life vests? Okay, maybe we just get on out of there. And as you might have guessed by now, that was not as magical as this was filmed in these episode of Malls. Take a look. Now, in this episode of Bones, it started inside the subway car, probably filmed on the front lot in a soundstage, but as it comes into the station, it's filmed right there on Earthquake, the big one, inside stage 50. Now, that's an example of what is known as practical effects. If digital effects are added in post-production, practical effects happen to our actors in the moment so they can experience them in real time and actually respond to what they're seeing. Now, that was an 8.3 on the Richter scale, what you just experienced. And even though it wasn't a real earthquake, I do it 4 times a day, and it still stresses me out every time. So I'd like to take you to my favorite part of the studio, Amity Island. Now, I know what you're thinking. I watched Jaws. I know they have sharks, but they've caught the shark, and everything's fine. In fact, my boyfriend, Austin, was here just this morning practicing his scuba diving, and he said it's beautiful. I can't wait for you to bring your tours here today. And if you'll take a look on your right-hand side, you'll see that they caught the shark, and now it's just a beautiful New England town set up right here on the back line. And there's nothing to worry about because the shark is hanging right there. Okay, so maybe we should worry just a little because there is a little tiny shark. Thank God my boyfriend Austin's already gone home because that would be real dramatic. So, oh no, Austin? Austin? Austin, get out of the water! Austin! Austin! Well, incidentally, folks, I'm single and ready to mingle. If we get away from the sharks, we're just going to go ahead and sneak on up and hide behind the barrels. Because these barrels of gasoline will keep us safe. Because we thought this might happen. So we have these barrels of gasoline, and out in a barrel in the lagoon there, we have some bait tied to the barrel. The shark will probably take the bait and be on its way. Everything will be fine. Don't panic. We are perfectly safe, folks. I promise. As I said, we're still safe because sharks are afraid of fire, right? That's a thing. We're absolutely safe. No panic. Okay, panic. There's a shark in the water right next to you. Oh, God. This is too much. Let's get out of here. Oh, the shark has got us. After Bruce Raymond, it was Steven Spielberg. Take a look. It didn't really work. On the island, you could hear the radio. It's not working.
We just waited and waited and waited. All their enemies
Inside. Practical set. If you remember, the Chicken Ranch is from The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in 1982, starring Burt Reynolds and Dolly Parton. And the chicken inside and the outside. And dollhouse, so you didn't even have to move the cameras to film inside. Eventually, it was Beethoven in 2003's House of a Thousand Corpses. And behind the Chicken Ranch, you're going to see house you see on camera. That was built for About a Boy, starring Minnie Driver. Now, from a distinct say, welcome to Colonial Street. Inside any of these down Wisteria Lane. Urban neighborhood like this, you don't always want to go into a. You're going to have to film in people's houses, and you also have to be aware. For instance, in Desperate Housewives, they burned houses. Tornadoes, and you can't do that in a real neighborhood because eventually those people will want to go back home. As you can see, this is a very desolate area because the art department has not set it up for filming yet, because there's no cars, there's no mailboxes, and the little brown squares on the sidewalks you'll see are for electrical outlets for plugging in lamp posts. Now, this has also been used for such things as The Burbs and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The episode Hush was filmed right here on Colonial Street, but recently it has been used primarily for Mindy Kaling's Never Have I Ever, starring Mitra Ramakrishnan. And if you look on your right-hand side, you're going to see that yellow house right there. That is the home of Dave. Colonial Street. Just continues the tradition of the most successful artists like to Steven Spielberg Drive. This is known to look like just an ordinary film, because if you have to film in you want to park your on your left-hand side. All of the episode of 911 starring Angela Bassett. In that episode, there was an upturned limousine that the rescue team had to rescue, and as you know, an upturned limousine is a picture car, and Universal's picture car collection has grown so much. get your cameras ready for some more picture cars, like the little Deuce Coupe, the yellow Deuce Coupe from American Graffiti, the piano service truck from Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and way in the back you're going to see Bumblebee next to the Decepticon taking a break from meet and greets in the park, and out front you'll see another helping of our cars from Fast and the Furious. Now, as 12 vacancies, so Hitchcock Psycho, and up behind now Psycho was, oh look, now it was filmed in 1960 to film in color. Uh-oh. Okay, this doesn't look good. Keep a stiff upper lip, girl. Oh, he sees us. Maybe we should, Okay, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. So, everybody say bye, Norman. Bye, Norman. Oh, good. Now, as we make our way on up the hill, you're going to see on your left-hand side the Psycho. It just had 2 walls, and it was built at 7/8 scale. That to be looming in the distance, but they did eventually finish out the third and fourth wall to make it a full shell. Now, as we turn the corner, you're going to see one of the largest sets of the worlds.
To sit down to talk about the idea. I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep blessing me. Listen, listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Get them closed.
Now, this is a real Boeing 747 that's decommissioned. It was bought by production and brought in from the Mojave Desert on flatbed trucks. Now, it was only used for 4 minutes of the film, but Steven Spielberg felt that it would be much more impactful to have the actors actually in the middle of a plane crash. Now, as we exit the War of the Worlds, take a look on your right-hand side, and you're going to see what is known as Falls Lake. Now, Falls Lake is that big blue screen, but out in the middle in front of that blue screen, there is a big basin that can hold up to 2.7 million gallons of water, and that's a handy place to film water scenes, like the movie Sully starring Tom Hanks was filmed right there, the plane evacuation. Also, Norman Bates submerged Marion Crane's car out there, and also Beyonce filmed Formation right out on Falls Lake. Now, we are approximately 10 minutes from the end of our tour, so if you have any need of the bathroom or you drop something of value, just pull the red cord and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Now, like I was saying, Falls Lake is where they film some of the most practical sets. For instance, if you were going to film out there on that lot, you would superimpose the background right up behind it. Now, I'm getting some transmission from my dispatch saying that we've got a witness to a crime here on our tram. So apparently it's saying, oh, this is novel, Shaw is after someone on our tram. I guess art imitating life now, huh? Because we've all seen Fast and Furious, but Shaw's actually after one of us. So we're going to go inside Sullivan's garage so that we can hide out from Shaw and let the Toretto family keep us safe. But do remain seated at all times, keeping your arms and legs inside the tram, no flash photography, and hold on tight because we've all seen the Fast and the Furious movies. This could get dangerous.
We brought you in our secret spot.
And turn off your cell phones.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
And meet you in there.
Those 3D glass, but we are
the race. Roman Pierce. It's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? Just back up a little bit.
I don't work for
I suggest a clear.
one hold my gun. Hey, boss? Yeah.
Really pissed off.
Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
Move! After them!
Okay, guys, it's showtime. Cover the left. This thing ain't moving fast enough. Roman, Lenny, hook him up.
Hit it!
Now we're moving.
Stop! Look out!
You give me the witness to let I'll be calling it a day! The witness is mine, Lenny!
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away! Call it the dogs!
Way to go, Lenny.
Don't climb it up the missile shot!
Not gonna happen. Don't worry, I got this.
Molly, don't shoot! Heading into bridge! Under the trenches! Everybody hold!
Hit the nitrous.
We're not gonna make it!
Ride or die.
Supercharged. We've outrun Shaw, thanks to Joe. We are safe and sound. We protected the witness on board.
It's crazy out there. You guys ride hard. Respect.
Now, my Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. We got through it. Y'all held us down. Appreciate it.
You see, the bigger the family, the stronger it is. You guys did good out there. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
Now, for over 100 years, Universal Studios has been thrilling audiences around the globe. They've made us laugh, they've made us cry, they've kept us on the edge of our seats. But it wasn't just the actors, the directors, and the writers who do it. Southern California is made up of thousands of people putting in hours, day and night, to bring these stories to life for you and me. And I want to thank you for joining us on this behind-the-scenes look of where and how movies are made. Thank you so much. And let's give it up for our driver, Joe, getting us back safe and sound. Everybody say thank you, Joe. Now, as we make our way back to the theme park, I'd like to remind everybody to download the Universal Studios Hollywood app so that you can check showtimes for things like Waterworld, a live Sea War spectacular, and check the wait time for our newest ride, The Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash. If you'd like to purchase any of the movies or television you saw on today's tour, you can go to www.uphe.com or now, on behalf of Joe, myself, Kyle, and everyone here at NBC Universal, we'd like to thank you for joining us on the world-famous studio tour. And as we make our way Be sure to watch your hands and feet as the gates are opening. Watch your step as you are departing the tram. Please put your 3D glasses in the receptacle that are designated specifically for them. And please enjoy the rest of your day in Universal Studios Hollywood, the entertainment capital of LA. And as we say in the movie business, that's a wrap. Everybody.
Hey Savannah, what's up? This is the studio tour right now. About to go see what else I'm gonna jump into right now. Probably go to that Laura lot. It's a busy day. It's jam-packed. How you doing? Or where ride you want to see? %. Let it go. Let's let it go. I got some chargers going in. How you doing, Savannah? I will be live here all day long. I believe the park closes at 10.
¿Quieres que le ayude, hermano?
So let's go down to the Laura lot. Or let's do the Simpsons then. So we'll do the Simpsons. I'll be live all day. So if I go off, it'll be for like, if I go get some lunch or something, or charge up my phone. But I will be live all day. And here to close it.
He's trying to put his seatbelt on.
¿Otro baño? ¿Eh? ¿Otro baño? No, el baño está acá. Estaba dormido. ¿Qué te pasó? Fíjate lo que te perdiste, bueno.
Está contento, ¿eh?
Savannah Center. Go check out the Simpsons. Alright, so we're going to the Simpsons right now in Lorelot.
Yeah.
Savannah, as you as a moderator. If you're still watching. Alright, so this left the studio tour. I'm gonna come back to it later because I got the Unlimited Express Pass, so I upgraded to $40 because I'll be here all day. And it'll be worth it because today is busy. Last train to depart at 7:15. We'll try to catch the tram at night. Jeez, the express line for Simpsons is crazy. Alright, so we won't be doing the Simpsons. We'll go hit Transformers. And maybe Jurassic.
А еще 300 килочку, почекай. You want your chamoy? They got
We're going to Lorelot. Let's go check out Super Nintendo World. Savannah, are you still watching? I'll add you as a moderator. The Simpsons queue for Express is going, so we'll do Transformers.
Of the San Fernando Valley. You can see from Sherman Oaks.
Okay, here's Super Nintendo World. Let me flip the camera. Here's that maze next to the mummy. Wonder what can it be? Interesting to see. There goes the pyramids.